Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Welcome to a special edition of the Sikh Channel Business Show from Toronto. I'm very pleased to be joined by an old friend of Sikh Channel, who's been with us for many years, Dal Bhattel from Toronto. Dal, welcome to Sikh Channel.
Thank you very much. It's an absolute pleasure.
Can you tell us briefly about yourself, what you do, what is your current role or business enterprise?
Sure, and absolutely. I was born in the UK, as you know, and emigrated to Canada at the end of 1997 and have lived here since. In the UK, I was practicing law, and when I immigrated here, set up a business called the Counsel Network and involved in lawyer recruitment and consulting and talent management.
That's tremendous. And during that time, what was the biggest challenge that you faced in your business? What was your biggest single challenge?
I think first and foremost, when I emigrated here, not knowing anybody here, not having a community, not having gone to law school with individuals here, it was challenging to try and form those relationships, build up a real professional network. And you know, it's interesting. Canada's very inviting in that respect, and you really need to put a lot of effort in to do that. So that was the challenge to begin with. But once that sort of network started to form, it started to grow from there, and it's been definitely something that's been enjoyable.
And as a lady, did you find any particular obstacles for you to progress and grow your business? Was that difficult for you, or was it as easy as if you were a gentleman?
Well, how long have you got? Because that probably is a show in itself. I think even today, women and women of colour still face a lot of challenges. One is obviously just trying to balance home and work pressures, but more so just being seen as somebody that is not able to commit the time and effort that's needed in business. So absolutely that's important. And, I think for all women and women of colour, just finding those sort of mentors and supporters that can definitely support you has assisted.
What advice would you give to any young ladies who are starting out in business for the first time?
It's going to be a challenge. Learning to balance things, especially once you're married and have children, because biologically only we women can have children. So learning to sort of balance that is challenging, not to get too stressed and fazed by it. But I think the key is to try and achieve that balance. You've almost got to look for achieving it on a monthly or an annual basis as opposed to daily, because I think those pressures can become overwhelming.
So set realistic targets and be measured in your approach.
Absolutely. I think that's accurate. And be self-aware as to what time and energy you can dedicate and when it makes most sense for you. I think timing is everything, and life doesn't sort of work well, and allow the time to work for you. So I think just trying to figure that out is important.
I know that you work very hard, Dal, and you spend many hours dedicated to your profession and business. Is there a sacrifice? Have you had to make a big sacrifice with your personal life?
There are definitely sacrifices I've made. I think if you ask my children, they'll sometimes say, they sometimes call me Dal, I'm on a call Bhattel. But, so that there are, but I think I'm very extremely passionate about what I do. And I think that passion has definitely allowed me to carry that through. And now that my kids are older, they've turned out, touch wood, okay.
And is there a difference between more established entrepreneurs like you and the new arrivals to the country from India? Are there different ways of doing things?
I think there are. I mean, I think, as I mentioned, first and foremost, I think you've really got to tap into a network. You've really got to try and that helps you settle quickly and also helps you accelerate in sort of settling in. But so I think there are those challenges, and I think one of the things that I tend to see now is that those that are coming over from India more recently stay within the community and don't venture out. And so that, I think, if there's ways to be able to have them integrate better into more mainstream, absolutely, I think that would definitely help everybody.
And you've recently joined the Sikh Channel Aid board as a director to manage and help direct our Canadian operation. How do you feel about this appointment?
It's an absolute honour. I mean, I think, we all go through our lives, and if you're committed to the Sikh faith, you want to be able to give back. And unfortunately, in a world that we live in when there isn't much time, it's easy for individuals to say, I'll cut a check. And, but going above and beyond and really doing seva, I think as you grow older, you start to realize how important that is. And so, as I said, it's an absolute honour knowing what the aid Sikh Channel Aid is doing across the world. It's tremendous, and to be involved in that is fantastic.
We've got various projects at the moment. As you know, in Nepal, we are building a school and Gurdwara for the local community to educate the young kids. We've also got projects in Kenya, as well as in Greece and in Punjab. Is there any particular project that you want to be involved in, or any particular aspect, for example, education of girls?
I mean, I think that's a very, very important one. I think, as a Sikh faith, we're incredibly lucky that we believe in equality. But I think, the education of girls is particularly important, but also teaching them more life skills that, the classroom can't teach. I think sort of having that involved in their upbringing, so that when they get older and and they're in professions and working and families, they just have a better awareness of life and challenges and perhaps how to deal with them. So I think those sort of softer skills is also something that I think is very important for education.
And there may be some local projects which you want to sponsor or take on here in Toronto. Would you like to do some local aid work?
Absolutely. I think one of the other ones that's very dear to my heart is mental illness. And I think mental illness in our community hasn't really, it's not discussed. In fact, it's not recognised. So I think that is incredibly important. I mean, my sister actually has Down syndrome, and so we've grown up with that and some of the challenges and seeing how she's overcome them. So I think that in particular is something I'd like to do locally, because I don't think that's acknowledged enough and no one knows how to deal with it.
That's great, Dal. You've met some of the Sikh Channel team, Jas Paul, our senior team leader, technical manager for Canada, Gurpreet Singh, who's our cameraman. And from the UK, you met Jagtar Singh Nijjar. What do you think about his efforts and contribution?
Yeah, again, I think it's phenomenal. I mean, just watching the amount of time, commitment and passion that everybody puts in is really what leads to the success of the organisation. It's absolutely tremendous, and hats off to them.
And looking forward, what advice would you give to anybody, whether it's a gentleman or a lady starting out in business, particularly in Ontario, because you're very well established in this area, you know the business community well. What advice would you give to somebody starting out in this area?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really important, for you to have a vision, which is great, because I think we all have fantastic ideas. But I think first and foremost is just being able to put together a plan and figure out where you want to be in 5 years, and then sort of breaking it down is incredibly important. And then making sure you have the right advisors, make sure you have the right a lawyer that's assisting you, an accountant that's assisting you, someone that's doing tax planning. Our Ontario laws for taxes are going to change for small businesses, so I think people need to be aware of that. And so those are the things that say, get your information, do your education, your research, and your plan beforehand. And you're never ever ready. You've got to take a bit of a leap of faith too, but really try and do that and have advisors that can help you.
And you came to Canada from the UK. You've been here now for over 2 decades. Apart from HP Sauce, what do you miss most about the UK?
apart from cheese and onion crisps and dairy milk chocolate. It's probably a good thing that's not available over here. You know, a lot of my family is still in the UK, so first and foremost, I miss them. I go back regularly, as you know. So first and foremost, I miss not having them around all the time. And then secondly, I will absolutely say the sort of female stereotypical comment and say, I miss the shopping. I get all my clothes still from the UK, so I miss that terribly.
Is it a fashion problem in Canada?
I don't think we have a fashion problem. I think it's just different. I'm used to the UK, so that's where I'm most comfortable.
Great. Thank you very much for joining us. We're very pleased that you've joined the board, particularly because you're a lady. We've got a number of people already helping us who are gentlemen. It's very important for Sikh Channel to get more ladies involved, and we hope you'll inspire other ladies to come forward and get involved in Sikh Channel, whether it's the broadcast or the aid work. Thank you very much, Dal.
No, thank you very much. As I said, it's been it's a real honour.
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ.